From the very fast and very slick B1 with its flashy afterburners, and the stealthy and very sort of interesting looking B2, to even the very large and able to carry a lot B52. I'm going to be comparing them all in this video, so stay tuned. In this video, I'm going to be comparing the three planes that I believe belong in the U.S. Air Force modern triad: the B-1B Lancer, the B-2 Spirit, and the B52 Stratofortress. Each one of these planes is very unique in their own way and deserves to be shown in their own separate videos, which they have. In this video, I will be comparing each one of them to each other and telling you which one I like best. Now I'm going to be starting this comparison with the B-1B Lancer, so let's get right into it. We're going to start our comparison with the B-1B Lancer. This plane was clearly designed to go very fast, and it was also meant to carry very large loads of ammunition and bombs in the bomb bays as well. This plane has a very unique design from both of the other planes, mostly because it is so long and has such a narrow wingspan for its length. On the inside of the roof, you can pull off these two curved slopes and reveal a box on the inside that turns on and off the aircraft. All of the planes in the triad do have these lights, but the B1 is the only one to have afterburners that light up. This aircraft has a very iconic T-tail section that was mounted in the vertical stabilizer, and that really does sort of signify what kind of plane this is, because just about how long this leading edge of the vertical stabilizer really is. One of the B1's primary features was its ability to have a swing wing. You just pull this out and pull down these little covers here, and the swing wing is complete. The same can be done for the other side. You just pull it like this until it's about halfway out like that, and then just pull down this little cover here, and then there you go, you got your swing wing. The swing wing allows the B1 to go subsonic when it needs to, mostly during takeoff and landing. All of the little details on the top and the sides are fully intentional, because these were little details that would be on the real plane, so I thought that I would bring them in on my plane as well. The B1 does have a rather tight cockpit. You just have to peel off a few of these pieces here, like that, and then like this. Start filling there. And that reveals a couple of seats on the inside there. There's a little bit better of a look at the interior there, along with the crew ladder that goes straight down to the bottom. On each side there are ejection seat hatches, in case the crew needed to get out in an emergency. Once you do that, you get to see the full interior of the B1. This plane is one of my favorites, and I very much enjoyed building it. Alright, moving right along, the next plane we're going to look at is the B-2 Spirit. We have now reached the epitome of design. This thing is unique. That's just going to say that. It has all sorts of odd curvatures and very sort of odd non-symmetric angles. We're going to look into these and compare them to the previous plane, the B1. One of the first things that may catch your eye, other than the plane just being a wing, are these engine intakes, which are not sort of your standard engine intakes. These are pointed, and this was to deflect the radio or the radar waves that would try to detect this plane. This plane is stealth after all. Other interesting design choices were these engine exhausts, which are on both sides. These are built into the wing using tiles on top of each other to sandwich them in, but that's just sort of interesting the way that it's designed. Since many of the flaps had to be removed, those were now replaced with this beaver tail flap here that just folds in and out, like so. Like both the B1 and the B52, this plane does feature some brick stuff lights. You're just going to want to remove the top here and flick the switch on a battery box. Once you do that, it lights up the lights on the tips of each wing. Capturing the look of the B2 took a lot of work, and I'm very happy the way that these slopes sort of integrate into the body. I also used a lot of curved slopes up towards the front of the aircraft and on the top to give it sort of that flying wing look. As we sort of talked about before, the flaps are quite a bit different than your normal aircraft flaps. You will be getting these upward flaps that fold up like this, but you will also be getting these downward flaps that fold down like this. You do get that same design on the other wing as well. When I was building this plane, I made it a high priority to keep it mostly made out of tiles. This being the newest out of the three planes in the triad is the more technological of the bunch. It uses all this new radar-coated material and all sorts of new design tactics to avoid radar whenever it can. And did I mention that there is a full interior on the inside? You will have to go check out this video to see it. This thing does have its own video, but there are all sorts of things in there, like a microwave, a toilet, and the pilot and co-pilot's chair. And now we get to the beast of the bunch, the B52 Stratofortress. This was one of my first planes, and it was a very challenging build when I first took it on. The B52 has a wingspan of about 5 feet and a length of about 5 feet. This thing weighs a very staggering 50 pounds. If we take a closer look at the front of the aircraft, we get to see that there are 2 ejection seats, one right here and one right here. There is also a lot of access up here to the nose. We can remove the roof and gain full access to the interior. Since this plane is giant, it also has 2 stories. There are some people below the pilot and co-pilot. The nose itself can be easily removed. Once you flip the nose over, it looks pretty bland, but there's a lot going on here. First of all, right here, we do have the crew hatch. You just got to pull this like so, and it comes right up like that. Up towards the front, we have both of the ejection seats. Now these do take a little bit of effort to get out. Got to sort of wiggle them out because they are sort of in there, like so. But then after a lot of pulling, you get to pull out an ejection seat. Once you get one out, getting the other one out is fairly simple. You just pull it right out like so. That then leaves you with a few holes in there looking a lot like a mouth. Like, how are you doing there, mister? Placing these back in is fairly simple. You're just going to want to click one in right here. Make sure the seats are facing forward because you wouldn't want them to be going in backwards, would you? And then you want to place another one. Seat fell off. You want to place another one right here. Like so. Just make sure it's in there. And then you just want to shut the crew hatch, which is this little thing right here. Make sure it's all the way in. And you're good. Moving back to the aircraft, this plane also has lights, just like the B1 and B2. It's a little harder to get to. You have to lift up the front of the plane like this, reach your hand under there, and sort of feel around for the battery box. And once you find it, you can turn it on, and it turns on the wings lights. Each wing has its own lights on both sides that are both controlled by that battery box in the center. The bomb-looking things that are mounted right here are the munitions that these planes would be known to carry. It does carry those on both sides too. Something else that the B52 was known quite a bit for were its huge flower flaps. You just pull these up and they insert straight into the body of the aircraft, like so. And the same can be done for both sides. Once you retract the flaps, it completely changes the dynamics of the wing. The tail assembly is fairly simple, mostly using these bricks on the sides construction. And at the very back, you get to see that this little thing here that I can't seem to open. Here, let me get to that. This is a drag chute. This would be deployed when the plane was landing, and it would have a big parachute that would come out here to slow the plane down. Just don't even ask what these are about. Keeping in mind that this is not a full video on the B52, I thought that I've covered a lot of the good features. Now let's get to the final opinions of this video. Well, now that I've showed you all my planes, we can now determine which one's our favorite. And to be honest, my favorite is always going to be the B52. I just really like this plane, and it was one of my first. I want to hear what you think. Put your opinions of which plane you like in the comment section below. And as always, please hit that like button and subscribe, and see you next time. Bye.